I was watching the Meet the Press interview with Bernie Sanders this morning, and I like Bernie Sanders, but honestly, I think this particular subject is really what's going to sink him. And I'm going to play the clip from Meet the Press that has to do with reparations.
We're doing as well as we are.
Well, you have been calling for political revolution, and there have been some critiques over it, though, that you're sort of narrow in where you call for revolution. Ta-Nehisi Coates, one of the more respected thinkers in the civil rights movement these days, wrote in The Atlantic, why aren't you for reparations for because of slavery for African Americans? When you're calling for economic justice on so many other levels, why do you stop short on that issue?
Well, for the same reason that Barack Obama has, and the same reason I believe that Hillary Clinton has. And that is, it is absolutely wrong and unacceptable that we have so much poverty in this country, and it is even worse in the African American community. That African American kids between 17 and 20 who graduate high school have unemployment rates and underemployment rates of 51%. The 36% of African American children are living in poverty. This is an issue that we have got to address. And my intention as President of the United States is to be very aggressive in dealing with those issues, to put our kids to work rather than see them go to jail, to improve our schools. That's what we have to do, and I think that's what the American people want.
I understand that, but you didn't answer the question why you weren't in favor of reparations.
Well, again, it's the same reason that the president is not, and I think,
and what is that reason?
Secretary Clinton is not. We have got to invest in the future. What we have got to do is address poverty in America, something that very few people talk about, and especially poverty in the African American community and the Latino community. And if you look at my record and if you look at my agenda, raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, creating millions of jobs by rebuilding our infrastructure, focusing on high rates of youth unemployment, I think our candidacy is the candidacy talking to the issues of the African American community.
Well, let me ask you, though, the African Americans, they hear that, and some will say, okay, he's talking about major economic justice, but an African American hand raises his hand and he says, well, can't get that through Congress, you can't deal with this because it's politically very difficult. A lot of your other plans are going to be politically difficult, if not impossible.
Well, look, this is what I think. That is looking at politics today as a zero-sum approach. And what I am trying to do in this country is to say, you know what? In the last election, 63% of the American people didn't vote. 80% of young people didn't vote in the midterm election. That is why the rich get richer, and that is why billionaires are able to buy elections. What we are trying to do is say that in American democracy, maybe it's a radical idea, but Congress should represent working families and the middle class rather than just wealthy campaign contributors. So, Chuck, what I am trying to do now is change the dynamics of American politics. Bring millions of young people, working class people, in to stand up and fight for their rights. When you do that, yes, we can raise the minimum wage. We can create jobs. We can make public colleges and universities tuition free.
You know, in that case...
Okay, sorry, it was a little glitchy. As I indicated earlier, I do like Bernie Sanders, but I think that this is going to be the issue that actually sinks him. Bernie Sanders was asked the same question previously, and he jumped to a fast answer, no, he wasn't in favor of reparations, and he didn't give a real reason why. He's had several days to consider this, and I know that the people on the staff had to have pointed out to him how weak his first response was. So he should have been prepared for this question by Chuck Todd. And Chuck did ask him 3 times basically the same question. And Bernie's answer, or lack thereof, is blatant. He should have to explain if he was in favor of the reparations for the American Indians, which have occurred during his tenure as a senator, the reparations given to the Japanese Americans, which obviously has been fairly recent, and the reparations just given to the Jewish quote-unquote Holocaust survivors or their families that was just given within the past year. Now, obviously all three of those were horrendous events for the individual people, Native Americans, the Japanese Americans, and in my mind, the German Jewish people who weren't even American citizens, they were even given reparations. But the most horrendous act in American history is slavery. And for him to not have a proper answer on reparations, which the African Americans are definitely entitled to, because African Americans were the ones that actually made this country great because of the free labor for well over 200 years and the labor that was contributed at well below median standards. So for him not to have an answer on this is going to be an issue that's going to be thrown in his face anytime the African American community is approached. I honestly, when he hits South Carolina, he's probably going to have a big problem. And now, based on his lack of an answer here, either he comes up with a better answer, such as, he's reconsidered his position on it and now he supports it, or he's going to have very few black leaders that are going to come out and support him because of the backlash they'll get for supporting someone who's not in favor of reparations.